Well, everyone, the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 13 are two different phones that are a pretty big deal. They're very beautiful phones. I'm a really big fan of them. So let's go and see how they both kind of compare. Now, as always, if you do have any sort of budget, it makes a lot more sense to go ahead and buy something like an iPhone 16 over an iPhone 13. But with that being said, the iPhone 13 still has a couple of features up its sleeves. There are still some advantages for that phone as well. So we'll go and kind of see how both these kind of compare from that particular situation. However, first things first, if you are in the market and if you do want to go ahead and pick up either one of these particular phones or some other ones that I recommend buying, links will be down in the description, down below. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel out at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular devices, the iPhone 13, which originally came out back in 2021, on the front side of this particular phone is giving you a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So within this type of phone and within this type of panel, you are still getting a pretty good type of layout. This type of phone is still giving you, 1200 nits of brightness at 60 Hz. Honestly, it's not really that great, but I guess it kind of gets the job done. The panel itself is still pretty smooth though, it still feels like a pretty good phone, but you have to keep in mind that this is definitely going to be one of those types of phones that is definitely going to be showing its age. It is not going to be feeling like an expensive phone anymore. It's definitely going to be feeling like an outdated type of device for the most part. So if you are going to be going through and picking up a phone of any sort, this one is definitely going to be one of those types of phones that's definitely going to be showing its age. So maybe it isn't the biggest deal in the world, but that is definitely going to be one of those types of problems that you might run into. With the iPhone 16, this is also a little bit of an interesting device. So this phone is still giving you a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and that right there is a pretty good looking type of phone too. I definitely like the way this phone looks. But there are a few things to keep in mind here within this type of panel as well. It is still only a 60 Hz display. So having only a 60 Hz panel, it's not the end of the world. But again, that could be a sort of type of problem that you might end up experiencing there, because you might end up wanting the phone that is going to be giving you an overall better experience. And even having a 60 Hz panel like that, like I said before, it is a little outdated and it would be nice to kind of get a better performing type of device, in my personal opinion, from that standpoint. So again, maybe it isn't the biggest deal in the world, but that could end up being kind of an annoyance that some people might actually end up running into. Now, another thing on top of that is that within these types of devices, the charging ports are slightly different as well. So they're both basically giving you the charging ports at the bottom, but the iPhone 16 is giving you a USB Type-C port, where the iPhone 13 is giving you a Lightning port. So that right there is also kind of a slight difference, because you are going to be getting a little bit of a better type of experience for the most part inside of something like an iPhone 16 than the iPhone 13. On the back side, you are getting a frosted glass back on the back of the iPhone 16, whereas on the iPhone 13, you are getting a standard glass back. So again, that right there is a little bit of a difference. You're also still able to maintain really good build quality on both, dual camera setup on the back side. Both these phones still perform well, but if you are trying to get the better performing one on the exterior, it's definitely going to be something like an iPhone 16 for sure. Now, on top of that, I think another important thing to keep in mind here too is when you're looking at both these types of devices, you have to remember that both these types of phones, they're still going to be giving you a good type of experience when it kind of comes down to their price tags. But the iPhone 16 is definitely going to be the one that is going to be a little bit more, expensive than something like the iPhone, 13. So if you are trying to get the cheaper priced phone, even a better priced phone in my opinion, it's probably going to be something like an iPhone 13 when it kind of comes down to it from that side. So maybe it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is going to be one of those types of things that kind of comes down to it from that particular situation. Now, on top of that, another important thing is the fact that when you kind of take a look at both these types of phones, these types of devices for the most part, they still, have good cameras, right? I would say that they're not the best cameras of this year or anything like that, but I think they still get the job done and you're still going to be getting a good experience from these types of lenses. So that is always something that is nice to have. You're going to be able to go through and get a good type of experience from these types of devices from that particular standpoint for the most part. Now, with that being said, if you are trying to go through and get a better performing device that is going to be giving you a really good experience, there are better types of devices out there as well. So for number one, I mean, getting dual camera setups on both these phones, is good, and it's going to be giving you a good type of experience. And there's nothing wrong with getting a camera like this because these types of lenses are still good. But if you are in the market, you're definitely going to be getting a much better experience in some other types of devices rather than this one. You're still able to do 4K 60 on the front and the back of both these phones. So I would probably tell you with this type of device, it is going to be getting the job done. It's a good type of lens, but neither one of these are breaking records. But the iPhone 16 is definitely the one that is going to be giving you an overall better type of experience rather than something like an iPhone 13. And when it comes down to software updates and just software longevity in general, you are definitely going to be getting a phone on the iPhone 16 that is also going to be giving you a much longer lifespan when it comes down to software updates. If you are trying to get the phone that is going to be giving you like software update after software update, the iPhone 16 is the one that's going to be the better one here as well. They're both still supported with software right now, so that is kind of a nice thing. You don't really have to worry about much from that standpoint. But if you are trying to get the device that is going to be giving you a longer lifespan, it's definitely going to be the iPhone 16. And that kind of comes down to battery life as well. The battery size is slightly larger on the iPhone 16, but the battery life is also going to be way better on the iPhone 16 as well. So if you are trying to get the phone that is going to be giving you an overall better experience from that side, once again, it's definitely going to be something like an iPhone 16 when it kind of comes down to it. And the performance, it's pretty much not even close. You're going to be getting a really good performing phone on the iPhone 16 with that Apple A18 chip, where the iPhone 13 is giving you the Apple A15 Bionic chip. So that right there is also going to be a pretty big difference as well. And if you are wanting the phone, once again, that is going to be giving you the overall better performance from that standpoint, it's definitely going to be something like an iPhone 16. The 16 is going to be an excellent performing phone. It's giving you more RAM, it's giving you way more features built inside, and you can imagine that if you're going to go through and be able to pick up any sort of device, a phone like that is definitely going to be basically the main phone that's going to feel very good and it's going to perform really well, really no matter what you're doing. So I feel like from that standpoint, you're going to be able to get a really good performing device. It's going to look very good, and that one honestly would make a lot of sense for me to recommend to a vast majority of people, because that is one of those types of devices that is going to stand the test of time for quite some time. So I say that all to say that between both these phones, I'm a fan of both these devices. I think if you're in the market and you're going to go through and pick up any of these types of devices, these devices are very good and they're very solid. But it definitely makes a lot more sense to go through and buy something like an iPhone 16. An iPhone 16 is a way better device than the iPhone 13 in almost every single way. But I say that, and I can also say, like, when it comes down to both these devices, you can always still go through and buy something like an iPhone 14 Pro that's cheaper than the iPhone 16 and still get a really good device from that one as well. So you're able to go through and still get a really, really good phone and get a really long-lasting phone from that standpoint from something like an iPhone 16 and still feel like you're getting a very good, very capable device. So it's not like you only have to go through and buy something like an iPhone 16. You can go through and buy an iPhone 14 and still get a really good device. You can buy an iPhone 13 Pro and get a better one, but the 14 Pro I think is a really good middle ground, and then the 16s are even better. But in terms of that, that's kind of how I see it for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.